Okay, we are live.
We are live.
Yes. I am Chloe.
I'm Sandy.
And this is WordStitch. And I apologize, Devin, for posting this like 3 hours ago. It's been a bad time. So sorry I wasn't able to like post for your daily playlist. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you working on today, Chloe?
So this is my first day working since last week's great tragedy. So I ended up completely outlining a story. Like I couldn't get words out, like actual productivity words, like actual written manuscript words. So I outlined a new project to hopefully go to Vela. I don't know if it's valid as an episodic story, but hopefully it'll work out. But so I did the outline for that. And then yesterday I wrote a eulogy that apparently made a friend of mine cry who like had never met this cat. So I'm like, okay, I still got that at least. I can still make people cry with my words.
So is our group aware of your tragedy? Are you comfortable telling them what you're eulogizing?
No, I believe so. Spence absolutely knows. And then anybody who watched our Bob Rossoff yesterday knows. One of the cats died last week. She was a baby. She was 3. It was, I guess, a heart condition that kills young cats. So that was why all of our shows the second half of last week were canceled. Sandy can't always make the shows, and I wasn't comfortable doing shows by myself. I don't know if I am yet, so I don't know if tomorrow is going to happen, but that's what happened last week.
You had a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week in like the worst ways.
Yeah. And like I was with her when it happened. Like it was a whole yes, and it's already been. It was already a bad week. Because as I've mentioned before, my housing situation is changing, so I have to go back to work, like non-writing work. So everything is like already bad, and then that happened, so it was like extra bad. But that means I need to make the most of this time. And as hard as it is, today is my first day writing, other than the eulogy.
So let's do it. Let's get some stuff done.
Right. So far I've done 2 streams already today. And I wrote one short story that was 1,300 words, and I wrote, I think, 300 words of this new project, because of course this new project is starting with like an interstellar spaceship battle scene, and I don't even like sci-fi. Oh, starting in a bad place. How about you, Sandy?
So I think I'm going back to my fiction. I had a good writing week. My memoir is a finalist in that like competition that I entered, the Book Life one. So I'm kind of excited about that, and it makes me feel like I should, maybe consider getting back to it.
Yeah.
Titles are validating.
Finally settling down for you.
What?
And things are finally settling down for you.
Well,
I mean, you still have a baby and everything, but you've cleared a few hurdles now that you can now start working toward your new norm.
I'm at least trying to clear a few hurdles. We're trying to like switch to formula. We're trying to hire a mother's helper. Like some things in my life might get a little better. So not that the baby isn't amazingly joyful, but man, babies are work. Okay. So okay, let's do some things then. Let's get some work done.
Yes. Yeah, let's do some writing. So let's pop this on the screen. There we go. 10 minutes on the clock. I might, after this sprint, get the Forest app going. We'll see. But for now, we're going to do this. 10 minutes on the clock. It is 7 past. We only ran a little bit long on that intro. We'll see you guys at 17 past. Okay, that was time. Let me know how you all did. Hey, Courtney and Shadow, thank you for joining, and thank you everybody who joined before. That I didn't get to say hello to. We have Devin and Spence and Rose and Herb all here. Thank you guys all for joining, and Better Days Zellers is here. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. We just got our first 10-minute sprint done, so we've got a good amount of sprints going. Sandy is muted, which I have a feeling means that there is a... Oh, is it just kids music? No, it's fine. As long as there's like no screaming, I don't care if there's a bit of kids music.
Yeah, so there's no screaming, but there's that happening.
Right no, that's totally fine.
Is it terrible? Is it going to drive people nuts? If it's driving you nuts, let me know and I'll mute it. It's driving me a little bit nuts. You're going to be muted
during sprints anyways. It's fine.
True.
Yeah, true. You're totally fine. Did you were you able to get any work done?
No, not at all. I had like one administrative thing that I needed to do first, which is like set up a book club email. No, I could not even do that because the baby had a leak and needed like changing and then needed entertaining and seriously, it's all a whole thing. Wow.
I didn't mean for that to actually get thrown onto the screen.
That's amazing.
Going to do that. Yeah, so we're going to be running Forest app for the next sprints in this. Since I do have Sandy with me today, I can't keep that screen up. But if any of you are running Forest app and you want to plant a tree with me, let me know and I will switch to plant together mode so we can plant trees together. So you got no work done.
Yeah,
except like baby cleanup, which is important work.
Yeah, but that's like my everyday work. This was supposed to be writing work.
Yeah.
You did something? I gotta make that thing change.
No, actually I did nothing. Now that I see where I am, I wrote like 4 words. So like I said, I'm dealing with like a battle in space, and I'm already struggling with like, I don't know what spaceships are, and I don't know what kind of terms they would be using. And I'm like hobbling things together from the fact that I do actually know boats really well. And also I know every single line of the movie Down Periscope.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
I haven't even thought about that movie in years.
Yeah, but like, so I'm thinking, and I'm like, okay, we always, every single time we see anything in space where you've got like 2 spaceships battling each other, they always are like oriented the same way. I mean, they might be like tipping around because they're like navigating, but realistically, 2 spaceships meeting in space, they're probably going to be like that, you know? Like, there's absolutely no reason. There's no up and down in space.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I'm already trying to, like, figure out how my captain would explain how this ship needs to move for it to go from, like, you've got 2 ships that are, like, next to each other, and this is his ship. There are a bunch of other ships over here. So he kind of wants to go like that to use this ship as a shield.
This is my life right now, you guys. It's a terrible
another song's going on. It's like I'm already trying to figure out, and I'm like, I feel like this is when like down bubbling would be happening. Because it's not like a ship could just realistically go, you know, most likely it's got to go. So the difference being that the nose is tipping.
I was going to say, do that again because we couldn't really see that.
Instead of going like this, where it just drops, I feel like the ship would have to go like that. Like, oh God, where's the camera? Why can I not find the camera? Why am I like this? Like that.
Got it.
As opposed to that. So I'm like, okay, I know this. This is down bubble right here. Would there actually be a bubble on a spaceship? That doesn't make any sense, except that there's also gravity. And because of that, I'm like, what happens with gravity? Does the artificial gravity need to do you know, would it need to like accommodate for this, or is it just like automatically doing this? I don't know. Oh, So Herb says that no, it would actually just drop. So here is where I don't understand the mechanics behind it. Like, would it just have like a down thruster on it? Is that how it would be done? Because that's exactly, oh, no, the bubble, right. How is the bubble getting gravity? Well, it would be the artificial gravity on the spaceship, except that the artificial gravity of the spaceship shifts with the ship, then there is no bubble, and we're back to that. Again, so unfortunately, I do have a degree in physics, and that is where, like, I have super overcomplicated this, because then I'm like, would a spaceship realistically have thrusters that just like push it down, or does it still only have thrusters that are like mounted permanently as opposed to rotating? And therefore it would need to tilt in order to drop down. And that is a very good question, Herb, about how is the artificial gravity done. I didn't research, like I researched how the engines were going to work on this and ultimately decided on a warp drive with a backup ion drive for when it is coasting. But I didn't think about the artificial gravity. And of course, my brain automatically goes to oh, you're right. You're right. If in order to tilt, it would still have top thrusters. That is a very good point. So I guess that, so I am still, well, yeah. Yeah, I guess if it does already have top thrusters in order to do it, and that's it. What you just said about the rotating, sorry, there's like this conversation where we're having two conversations at the same time, but it's the same two people having this conversation. Because I am going with something that does actually exist, artificial gravity, as opposed to like traveling faster than the speed of light, my initial impulse is to go with rotation because that is actually how you make artificial gravity. But I feel like it would actually have something to generate gravity.
Wow.
Also, I can't stress enough that like this is for a scene that's like 300 words, and then I'm never gonna have to deal with this again.
Yeah. I appreciate your commitment to the cause.
Yeah.
I know you always do this.
Right.
I'd like to know what your most interesting random stuff that you know is. I mean, I'm sure you have.
This is all physics. So that's where, so the thing is that it's all physics, but also I never actually took, because I was not forced to, and I don't hate myself, I never took the advanced fluid mechanics. And although this wouldn't be fluid mechanics because there's no fluid in space, I still feel like that would probably give me a better grounding for what I'm doing now. I do absolutely know how to shoot a space shuttle around a sun, though, because I have graphed that 8 million times in my life. And I know that all these people's ages are going to be all messed up from doing stuff like that. Anyways.
You are at least in good company. You're not the only person who has apparently spent
crazy
amounts of time doing these things.
Yeah, and it's funny because with stuff like this, like, if I actually, there we go. If I actually read sci-fi, I probably would like have all these answers already figured out and it would be nothing at all, but like I'm making up sci-fi as I go along. To fluid mechanics at a bar. I support that.
All right, this went weird places. Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the next sprint while I jury rig this and just assume the fact that like anybody is reading this is going to be reading it for weird alien peen and not accurate physics and move on with my life. Okay. So we are going for 25 minutes. Again, for the next sprint, if anybody wants to plant with me, just let me know and I will switch to plant together mode. But for now, you guys just get to watch this cherry blossom grow. We'll see you guys in 25 minutes. Okay, we are back, and I have too many buttons. There we go. We're back.
We're back.
Sandy, were you able to get anything done?
I got that email out. I made a bottle. I posted about my finalist thing for the Book Life Prize on Facebook. That is it. That was all I was able to accomplish in those 25 minutes. And little guy is totally awake right now. Because even though he naps for most of the day, that's how my life works.
But he's not screaming, and that's all that matters.
That's true. There's no screaming going on.
Yeah.
So
there will be a time when he's just always awake, but not screaming. And, when he's like, 7.
I was say, did that actually happen? Like, when?
Yeah, like once they start growing up and learn that like screaming is not the only way to communicate things, which I feel like is
Hopefully that'll happen before 7. Maybe like 4 would be good.
I mean, they're getting better at it by then, but I feel like they don't really.
They're still screaming.
Yeah, screaming is still a major part of communication at that point.
That's probably true. What about you? Tell me you wrote some stuff.
I did. I don't know what I left at, but I'm at 728 now. I feel like I left in the 300s, so I got somewhere around 400-ish.
That is very good. I feel very jealous.
The simulation ended, and now I'm like having a conversation, and I can handle that a lot better.
Good. Good. Yeah, you don't have to worry about the whole like rabbit hole physics stuff anymore. Oh my God. Oh my God, the music. I've always thought that parents were crazy for being like crazy over like baby music. No. It's over and over and over and over and over again.
Oh, you mean like the whole thing about like never give anybody a toy that makes noises because it's going to drive the parents nuts, that thing?
Yeah, except how do you do that? Every toy makes noises.
Oh, it's a nightmare, yeah.
Yeah, there's yeah.
Or like you find stuff that like you can turn the noise off. There's a lot of not great, but kind of okay things you can do.
Yeah. Hey, can we talk about Vella? And your thoughts on that?
Vella.
I think it's kind of exciting, right? Has everybody heard about this? Has anybody? Well, maybe I think Chloe, you know more about it than anybody else does at this point that I know of.
I kind of do, but also that's just because I've read the like 4 pages of information that Amazon has put out, and that's all that they've put out. I was actually like in a whole conversation about it earlier today because in one of the streams that I was watching, everybody was upset about the fact that the books don't really have covers.
The books?
They're using a model similar to the other serial novel sites where it's an image, like you do have an image that goes with it, but it's more of an icon than a book cover. Like it's literally a circle, and you're not supposed to have any text in it. Or they recommend. I don't think they would ban it for not having, or I don't think they would like flag it for having text, but they recommend not putting text in it because your title is going to be underneath it. So it's actually, it's very similar to literally what this timer looks like, right? When it's actually running, where you would have
I'm still here.
That your image is in, and then your title would be either below it, like the 25 is, or possibly above it. I don't know which way that they would go. But it's going to be an image similar to this is basically what your cover page is going to be. And so a lot of people are upset that they're going with this model as opposed to an actual traditional book cover. I'm assuming it has to do with how they are planning on actually listing things. I'm assuming that it's not going to be listed in the traditional Amazon fashion. Although actually, I don't really think that the Amazon model works well for books anyways. When you look at, I'm just going to pull this up to make sure that I am imagining this properly. Don't mind me. Did I forget how Amazon shows things or not? Yeah, no. So like, even on my phone, it's a really weird layout for like the book cover, right? You got the book cover and the text next to it. And like, that's just like a basic on the phone. When it's on the computer screen, I feel like it's even more stretched out like that. So I don't really think that the book cover model actually works well on Amazon. Other sites will have like book covers next to each other. It'll be like book, as opposed to Amazon's book. And I actually kind of feel like those little circle images, where you're meant to more be reading the text next to it than actually trying to decipher the title, in a thumbnail. I feel like it might actually be more beneficial. I don't know. Did that make sense? Did I say all that right?
Yeah, you did. You did. And I think, so it sounds to me like they're kind of, this sounds like as close to like the fan fiction world as Amazon has ever come. Like they're looking for serialized stuff. You get like a little icon. You only need a title. You don't have to have a finished story to start. So, I mean, like basically if you're updating and your story is fun, then people keep reading it.
This is very much from, and I guess there's not like a big difference. I say it's closest to Radish, which very much uses the Wattpad model.
Yeah, it feels like Radish. Sneeze.
I have to sneeze, and I was hoping it would come then, and it didn't. We'll cross our fingers. But yeah, so it's very much the Wattpad model, which Wattpad isn't a fan fiction site, but it is a fan fiction friendly site. And I feel like it's a better design, or it's more visually pleasing in its design than actual fan fiction, like fanfic.net or AO3. That's the other one, right? That's the other big one.
Yeah. AO3. The difference being that Amazon has a significantly wider reach than Wattpad.
Yes.
And people who perceive themselves as serious readers might go to Amazon Vella, where people who do not care about like the status of their readership are more willing to read anything.
That is my thought behind it as well. I have in the past looked into Radish and ultimately decided that it was not for me. And I feel like that was part of it. I know that Radish actually does do their best to curate, and you do have to like you can't just post anything on Radish. They do actually screen you. You have to go through an application process to become a Radish author. But at the end of the day, I still think that there is a quality issue on Radish, and not that I'm saying there's not going to be on Amazon, but also I feel like because of that, people are less likely to use Radish. And also it's not as well known, of course, as Amazon. I feel like people are going from Wattpad to Radish, so they don't care so much about quality because they're already, not to bash Wattpad, but people who are going from Wattpad to Radish are already used to not necessarily good quality. And I feel like it's going to be different expectations for Bella.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I wonder, because anybody can start one, right? Like there is no screening or anything that Amazon is doing.
As far as I know, yeah. Which, I mean, in all fairness, Amazon doesn't screen anything. I mean, other than like, making sure that you're not writing illegal stuff. Like
Right.
Yeah, stuff that's against their TOS, but
And so right now, if you were to start doing this, there aren't any readers, right? Like this isn't
No,
yet.
no, it doesn't exist yet.
So you would be like building up a backlist.
Exactly. There is, and it's funny because this is one thing that I missed in all of that information, but I have seen elsewhere. Apparently there is some sort of a bonus for if you have content ready to go before it launches. Like that's how they're getting people to do it now. I was going to do it anyway. Just to give it a whirl. So the nice thing with it is that like what you post on there cannot be posted anywhere else, but at any time you can pull what's there and publish it. So like I can write an entire story there, and if it's not getting any action, I just pull it and publish it properly.
Yeah,
and it would most likely be a different audience. Yeah. So that's what's happening now, but we don't have a date. As of when I looked at the information for it, the best that they gave was upcoming months.
Okay.
Like we don't have any sort of idea really. Like we don't even know if it's going to be the summer, the fall, when this is actually going to launch. At this point, it's just allowing us to put content on it.
That is very interesting. That little brown head, by the way, that is the baby. He wants to see what's going on.
Understandable.
So yeah, no, I'm really tempted to try to do something like this. I feel like it's low risk potentially, especially.
Exactly.
Wow, little sir. Sorry. That's the baby burping.
I do that. But yeah, that's my thought as well. It's low risk. Worst case scenario, it doesn't do anything, but I still have a book that I can just publish normally. I am going to write something that's basically traditional. Obviously, you got to change things up a little bit to make sure that it is sufficient for an episodic setup. You have to work your chapters properly for it, but the outcome of this should be something that's publish ready if I ultimately decide that Vella's not working and I want to just put it out there as a book.
I mean, it's kind of amazing for any author who like doesn't have like a clear ending for a story in sight, right? Like
that too.
Like I have a law firm thriller I've been meaning to write for years, and I just never quite there's enough characters and enough going on that I've never really had like the energy to pull it all into one book. But gosh, like if I could just
yeah, it's nice also that it gives you more options for things that you can do than just like have a book.
Yeah.
Do you want to? And it's funny because like I've been reading things where some people are like, well, no, it's got to be episodes. It's got to be episodes. It's got to be a complete story in each episode. Like, no, that's not it at all. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of really crazy posts about this. In one of my groups, somebody was complaining that if you post something that's 10,000 words, then you're only going to get like 20 cents off of it. Like, this is not where you post things that are 10,000 words unless you are posting many 10,000 word things in the same thing. Like I've been seeing a lot of crazy stuff coming out about this. And people are just like not understanding how you would want to do this.
And you're paid per episode, not based on word count.
Right. So that the way that the payment works, and we're running long on this break, but we are going to do more writing in a minute. We'll start our next thing at 10 after. So the way that payment works, it's the exact same model. Well, no, I was going to say it's the exact same model as Radish, but it's not, because Radish, you can put things up for free and they've got a bunch of different ways of doing it. So the way that it works for Vella is that each of your episodes has to be between 600 and 5,000 words long, which is a very valid range. It's a very flexible range. It's basically exactly how long a chapter would be, 600 to 5,000 words. The first 3 chapters, no matter how long they are going to be free. No matter what you do, that is just the hard rule with Amazon, is that the first 3 chapters is going to be free. You want that anyways, because how are you going to entice a reader with just 1 chapter? Like, it's, it's, yeah. From then on, every chapter afterward is unlocked with coins that you buy through Amazon. Each coin is worth 100 words. So that's also something that's really nice about this model with how rigid it is that if you have a 2,000 word chapter, it's going to be 20 coins. If you have a 3,000 word chapter, it's going to be 30 coins or tokens or whatever they're called. And you buy them in packs where it's something like, I'm going to say it's something like 200 of them is $2, and it goes from there. But so like people have mathed it out, and it's really funny because people will use the exact same numbers, but they'll be comparing a 10,000 word book to a 100,000 word book. And of course it's terrible for 10,000 words and it's amazing for 100,000 words, but that's literally everything. And we keep going back to the fact that as long as you hit a certain length, which I believe is like 20,000 words, this pays better than Kindle Unlimited.
And if you're the kind of person who is motivated by readers like finding your stuff and every week responding.
Yes, it is going to have response areas in it. You are, as best as I can understand it, people will be able to comment on each episode. So you will have that interaction that you get with Wattpad or Radish or any of the other ones. Also, if you want to do the CTAs at the end of your scenes, if you want to have a dialogue with your readers at the end of your scenes, you can do that.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah.
Like I love this. I hope it catches on. I wonder if it will.
Yeah, I hope it does better than the model. I'm not great on the model based on what I have seen before, but I see so much potential in this model if it actually works. And so I'm definitely going to write something for it to see if it works.
Oh my gosh, me too. This is okay. We gotta write now, don't we?
We do. This sprint, we're gonna go ahead and do another 25-minute sprint because we went a little long there, but we'll cut down our next break a little as well. Sorry, guys. But we're gonna go for 25 minutes. It is 9 past right now, so we will see you guys at about 34 past. Go get some words in. All right, we are back. Hold on just a second. I'm here. The other door was open. Why are you so dumb? Oh, it wasn't open. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chuck. Okay, we're back. How'd you do, Sandy?
Well, I at least looked at the thing I was working on and like came up with a good first sentence.
Yeah, that's good.
Also, I discovered I have a baby carrier and that the baby can be entertained and held while I type, at least for short bursts of time.
You're talking about like a baby hammock thing, right?
Yeah, I have like a thing. I have a thing. He's like,
he's great.
He's like a backpack.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's comfortable.
Not to like make everything super depressing, but like when I was writing my thing for my cat, part of it was like when she was a kitten, she was always really desperate for attention. She just really liked being held all the time. Yeah. And when she was a kitten, I would like put my bathrobe on and like tuck her into my bathrobe, and she would just be totally happy if I was like sewing or writing or anything. And it was great. So yes, any way that you can just like hold the baby is great.
It was great.
Until
yeah. I'm gonna put my camera in and take this off. You tell us what you got
done. Anyways, how did y'all do? It looks like the room has gone really quiet since we started talking about Vela. So we don't need to talk about Vela anymore. I got about 300 words there. I don't know. My pace is just real slow. For me, I realize that for a lot of people, 300 is good. So please don't think that I'm judging you when I say that. But I usually do better than 325 minutes. So my pacing is still slow. But you know what? Not only am I going through a rough patch, but also this is the beginning of the story, and I do tend to be a little bit slower. Like this is literally the first scene of it, so I feel like I'm normally a little slow here, so I shouldn't be irritated by that count. That being said, so like I had these great big plans for Nano, which obviously like fell through in so many disastrous ways. And now I haven't I need to write like 48,000 words by the end of the month in order to actually complete Nano. And I don't like not completing Nano. It's just one of those things. So, yes.
Well, in fairness, you've had a hell of a month, so it's not like...
Yeah. When I look at those numbers in like 4 years, I'm going to be like, what the hell was that month? And then I'm going to dwell on it, and I'm going to remember, and I'm going to be like, okay, well, apparently I hate my brain today.
It was a rough month. I think you can give yourself like a little bit of leeway. I
can lie slightly, because I am also writing these short stories. Technically, I have written more than what my goal was for the month, but I wasn't counting the short stories in this. I could totally lie and count the short stories in this. I'm not above that.
That's a lot of people would do that and not consider it lying. Like they would just consider it writer life, you know?
You know, right? If it was regular Nano, I would totally 100% agree with that sentiment, because it's camp. This is the goal that I set myself up for. I set myself up to write 50,000 words and then also write a short story in addition to that every single day. Not write 50,000 words a day, but like write 50,000 words over the course of the month. And then also in addition to that, write a short story every single day. So you're absolutely right. It's not lying about my word count. It's just that because that was what I set my goal up for, it is falling short of my goal. Which, again, I have a good reason to fall short of my goal, but
it still sucks.
It still sucks, yes. Yeah. Courtney got 1,003 first script where she actually wrote and got distracted for half the stream. That's fair.
That is.
We went on a very long conversation about Vela.
Yeah.
In the last break. So, and I do feel like, as much as I haven't talked about it for today, so I was absolutely all about talking about it, I do feel like it's all anybody is talking about right now, and probably people are tired of it.
Oh, do you think? I feel like it's new enough that it might not be talked about still.
I don't. So I guess it depends on how many different writing communities you're active in, because it's a conversation in every single writing community I'm in, and I'm in a bunch of them. So because of that, this conversation is everywhere around me. But if you're not active in a whole bunch of them, then it probably isn't something that's like completely blowing up on you.
Everything is blowing up on me, and I can't actually mute my computer right now. I can't mute it, so you guys have to listen to my dog because I'm busy holding the baby in one hand and a bottle in another hand. And I'm just saying, like, writers who have kids and are able to continue writing.
This is just life. It's just life.
Are doing, yeah, no, that's it's no wonder so many writers are mildly crazy. Like, this is insane. My
mother, like the other day, I was telling her about what's going on here, and she's like, "Well, why don't you come move in with us?" Which, first of all, is already my worst nightmare, right? But also, my parents are two retired people. Also with a cat and a dog that is a small dog, so I'm assuming that it is very much what Sandy's life is at the moment. They've never appreciated the, like, I work from home thing. So I would never, like, even if the situation came down to it, I'd be better off living in a campground than living with my parents, because at least in a campground, it's fairly quiet other than nature noises, and there's usually free, albeit crappy, Wi-Fi.
I hope it does not come down to that.
No, it's not. It's, unfortunately, it's what it's come down to is going back to Publix, which sucks a whole bunch, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Since we were behind, should we get ahead this time and make this break shorter?
You want to, like, make this, like, go ahead and do our next sprint and do 15 here?
Well, I'm saying at least at like 5:45. Like,
that's when this one normally. Oh, I see. Like, get us back onto schedule. Yes, absolutely. That was my plan.
That is. I think we still have 2 minutes. We still have 2 minutes of the dog yipping. That can be a thing. What I wanted to talk about is starting things like stories in the middle of the action. Oh my God.
Oh, you mean like how I started this story with their ship being surrounded by 5 enemy spaceships? Yes.
Yeah. I've just we're interviewing a mother's helper this week because this is driving me bonkers.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
So the funny thing about that, though, is this actually kind of came up in that stream that I was watching earlier. It was Zara Hoffman's stream earlier. I know she might. No, I don't think she's going anymore. She said she had something to do at 5. She's been for a long time today, but they were talking. They were talking about. It just kind of Sako mentioned that one of the problems a lot of stories have is the second chapter sucks. And that's kind of the whole starting a book with action, like starting mid-action, is great, but it also tends to, the domino effect is then the second chapter sucks, because then the second chapter has to be your exposition dump. I don't know where you were going with that, Sandy, when you mentioned starting with action, but that was just like a conversation that I had, or that I was in earlier today, that was related.
Yeah. So that's exactly kind of one of the things I want to avoid. I'm like going back through this story that I need written by like June, and oh my gosh, I had so much like it was like I just totally forgot the rules or something. Like my entire first like chapter was going to be all exposition.
Is this because you are
It's probably because it's Karina's first chapter, and that's how those always go.
Oh, gotcha. I was forgetting the right way of saying this. I'm just going to like speak words and you will understand what I am talking about.
Yeah.
Is it because this is the third book in this series and you are explaining what happened in the first two books? There is a much nicer way of saying that.
Yeah. It's like a whole catch-up kind of thing. Or I was gonna do a whole catch-up kind of thing. And then I realized I'm really not sure I need it. Like, I think maybe some of that is just unnecessary.
Is it possible? I feel like this is a thing that still happens occasionally in YA and also fantasy. Can you just have like a prologue that is this is the situation up to this point? Like a recap. That is the correct term. Recap is what I've been trying to find. Can you just do an actual recap on it?
This is how we feel about
this. Fair. That's fair. Let's go ahead and do our last sprint. Okay, so we are doing the last sprint for 10 minutes. There we go. It is 5:46 here in Atlanta, so we will see you guys at 4 of the hour. Okay, that was time. Really quickly before we wrap it up, I am looking for. So I've got these aliens in space, and they have access to human movies, but these aliens are not capable of like feeling love. So I just don't think that they would appreciate movies that have any sort of a romance plot in it. But also, I feel like because it's a bunch of dudes, they probably don't want to watch anything like sexual either, or that they probably wouldn't be given that kind of content. But Die Hard, I think you're right. There's no romantic plot in that, right? Because it's his ex-wife and like nothing ever happens there. So that's a good one. And I might be able to find stuff with horror. I don't know if horror is good for these guys either. It's a bunch of aliens in space. I don't know. I just realized that like nothing in my brain is without a romance plot, and it's probably because I watched too many Hallmark movies.
I don't understand. Like, why can't you just use like a regular war movie? Like, why can't this be Hunt for Red October?
I don't know. So they are soldiers. So I don't know if that would be a good thing or a bad thing. I was thinking stuff that's more fun.
Russian submarines are totally fun.
This is fair. Also, that was our last sprint. So if you guys want to do more sprinting, we are wrapping up right now. We're just going to have this little conversation and then go. So if you guys want more sprinting, I'm sure Devin can send you in the right direction there. Oh my God, E.T. would be so funny.
What about The Godfather? The Godfather kind of thing a bunch of dudes would watch together. There's no romance in that.
I don't know if they're that. Okay, so the other thing, so basically my characters in this would be like Star-Lord would basically be my main character. I don't remember his name. His actual Peter Quillen, is that his actual name? But Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. And then what was that?
Is that the big guy? Like the
No, that's Drax, but that would kind of be who the other guy is. It's those two. So it's the goofy main guy. The human who's actually half something else, whatever. I don't actually know those movies very well because I didn't like them. But it would basically be those two characters, and then they're genetically engineered soldiers who are of very low intelligence. Like they're just grunts. They're disposable, but also they're all out in deep space together and they need to keep themselves amused. But also, again, they wouldn't understand romance and they probably wouldn't understand like sexual tension either.
No, you for sure need a war movie. You need a war movie. You have to have a Hunt for Red October, a Saving Private Ryan. I don't know, something else. My dog is insane.
Your dog is freaking out. Yeah.
This is my whole world. If you're with us, so we're done writing. You should go try to get work done elsewhere.
Yeah. We're done. We're just having this silly conversation now. It was like I don't know. Oh my God, Tremors. I could have the entire series of Tremors. There was no romance in Tremors, right? I know there wasn't really in later ones. We just recently watched the like very last one, which is just as bad as every single other one, but I do like Tremors. That is a good suggestion. I can give them a war movie, definitely.
I don't know. I just Googled Tremors and it looks amazing.
Tremors is terrible, but
for your purposes,
amazing. Yeah. It's oh God, was it River Phoenix? Who said that? Kevin Bacon. So like I totally support Tremors for this.
A little romance is tolerable.
Yeah, I feel like if they just don't understand that part of the plot, it's no different from a kid. Like as a kid, I like Tremors, even though I wouldn't have really understood that. So that works. But also as a kid, like James Bond would have been inappropriate for me because of the sex scenes in it. But like not because of the violence, because we don't care about that and I don't understand, but that's okay.
I've never seen Tremors. I clearly need to do this. My dog has now woken up the other dogs in the neighborhood. There's multiple ones barking. We're inside.
Reaction.
And the baby is in the swing, but he's kind of looking at me like, you've got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think I need to head out.
Yes. Yeah, we will. Oh my God, arachnophobia. That also
yes.
This is a great series right here. But we are going to call it a day. Spence, are you going to be streaming Don't Starve Together tonight? Let me know about that. And then if you are, we will pitch that. I don't know when I'll be logging in. I will be in for part of it tonight, but it might not be until like 8 o'clock. Anyways, Sandy, any outro for you?
Thank you all for tolerating my chaos today. Well, Chloe was serious and did actual work. I'm going to try to shift and start doing these on Wednesday nights instead of on Mondays from 4 to 6. I think that would be better for everybody involved. So hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday.
Shadow, it's for the book that I'm working on right now. I just have these characters. It's the aliens who are stuck in deep space. And they need movies, but it can't be stuff that has like romance or sex in it because it's not going to work for this setting because of the deal with them. So, but like Tremors and Arachnophobia are really good for this. I wanted stuff that has a humor aspect to it as well, which both of those have that. Okay, so great. So Spence tonight is apparently already working toward streaming Don't Starve Together. Spence, I don't know if you have a wrench, but what is your Twitch channel? If you need to just like give your name, we'll go that way. But yeah, Don't Starve Together is good. Is good background amusement for writing while also zoning off into space, but like being able to do both and not have to worry about paying attention. So absolutely, if you guys are just looking for cheap entertainment with a really bizarre video game, we'll be doing that tonight. I'll be in it at some point tonight. But yeah, so I am Chloe, and I don't know what the schedule is going to be this week. Sandy, you think you'll be able to do Wednesday?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So I'll go ahead. Okay, so Haley Spence on Twitch. So that would be, hopefully this is right, twitch.tv/Haley Spence. Did that actually make a valid link? I don't know. But anyways, so that is what is going on tonight, and we'll be back on Wednesday night. I don't think I'm going to do tomorrow morning, but I am going to try to do Thursday and Friday. So I should hopefully have those on the schedule by Wednesday if I am. And that's what is going on with us. Oh yeah, Spence is in a bad spot right now in her game, so there's going to be some frustration, but I'm using frustration because it's not a serious game. It's a really funny game. So with that, I think we're going to call it a night. You guys all have a great day and get some work done, and I hope your nanos are going better than mine if you are doing nanos, and I hope your projects are going well in general.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.